it's 10:30. We back. Spin that back show, all the classics on track. From 79 to 99, we're crossing the gap. Album reviews, little known facts, hip hop intact. Saturday mornings, dark stories, old school mysteries. From early South status to rise of CBD. Blow up at a beam. Turn it up, let the vinyl spin. 10:30 sharp, where the stories begin. From the golden era, treasures within. Spin that back show, every sound, the legends and the lore, every beat, every rhyme. Uncover more, from Grandmaster Flash to Nas's Roar. We're bridging the past, hip hop's core.
Okay, it's 10:30 on a Saturday morning, so it must be that Spin That Back show, and it is. So we're going to be spinning it back. And on the Spin That Back show, what we usually do right here is we talk about hip-hop from the years of 1979, the inception of recorded hip-hop music, up to 1999, to the millennium, basically. You know what I'm saying? That's what we call the golden age, the golden age is up in there for sure. This is like our era of hip hop that we like to concentrate on. Me and my man, Mr. Nice Guy here. Mr. Nice Guy, how you doing here today, brother?
Doing pretty straight, and that's the golden. That's the recorded age. You know what I'm saying? The golden age of recorded music, because we definitely respect what was done in the parks and all this stuff before '79. We wasn't out there in those parks to know nothing about that. So salute to those pioneers. I'm doing well, brother.
Doing okay myself, and today we're gonna be, we're gonna do something a little different for y'all today. We're going to talk about new albums from golden age artists, but from that time frame. So we got a lot of artists out here that came up in the 80s and 90s that was doing their thing. And they kind of, maybe some of them kind of, maybe it fell off a little bit, but it's a whole lot of new music coming up from these type of artists nowadays. In fact, for example, let me give you one right here. Let me see this. You got a Mass Appeal. It says they're dropping a timeline for albums from Nas, DJ Premier, Big L, and De La Soul. I mean, come on, let's think about that. Now, Nas has been relevant, over the years. He keep dropping music. That's one thing I can't say about Nas. He's about the most consistent.
He ain't picking great beats, but you're right. He's picking a whole bunch of albums. So yeah, he's been doing that.
Well, we went that back one time. He's still picking terrible beats, and we was up here talking about the first album, Illmatic, and everything. I know we was kind of comparing it to something else, so we'll get to that later. But on Illmatic, it was, we was just kind of talking about that a little bit, and you were saying your favorite songs, "The World Is Yours," right?
Yeah, my favorite song on Illmatic is "The World Is Yours." It's. I mean, I stop whatever I'm doing whenever it's playing, and I'm gonna hear it out. I love it. I love the rhymes. I love the beat. I love the scratch. I'm a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Not just a basic jigga DJ, but you know what I'm saying, DJ. And I'm just saying it's musical. Everything about it is just dope. I love it.
That was probably the one song I didn't really like too much on that album. I didn't really like that beat. I mean, the beat was cool, the piano and everything was cool, but it was like, it ain't really doing too much. It wasn't really doing too many changes or anything. It wasn't like the Large Professor, because Large Professor made beats. They kind of moved and switched up and did other things. That beat was just kind of like just a straight loop to me. I was like, it's a little boring. It's cool though. You know what I'm saying? I think it was to me, it was one of the weakest songs on the album.
So that happened.
Yeah, that's just me. But like I say, but it's still a lot of people coming out though. So I look forward to a new Nas album, of course. DJ Premier. And DJ Premier, when he does an album, it's always going to be features. It's going to be featuring, Nas and who the hell else, or whoever else. In fact, I just heard a song yesterday. It was Premier and some newer dude, I think. I can't think of the name of the song or nothing, but I wasn't really impressed. It was kind of a slower beat. Premier, I like Premier on just like mid-tempo type beats, and the more upper, with faster, beats. When they kind of get slowed down and everything, he kind of loses me too, because Premier is like, I can't deal with Premier making those slow beats. That just don't fit with me. Not with
And
him.
everybody has songs that ain't hitting as hard as than other songs. You know what I'm saying? You just create music, and music will distinguish itself. It'll rank itself. It'll, you know what I'm saying? It'll separate itself. But I mean, Primo is one of my favorite, producers of all time. I see his name on it. I'm very enthusiastic to find out what's what. It may not be golden every single time, but it usually is. So, but that's an interesting point that you make about that tempo. I'd probably be interested to check some of that out. You may be honest.
I mean,
we all have lanes. We all have our lanes.
I go back to X Girl to the Next Girl. I didn't like that because it was just too slow to me. It's like I don't get that. But then you go like DeWick and just to get a rep. You know what I'm saying? Those, that's the tempo I like. But Premier, that gets me bouncing. But when you got that slow stuff, it's like the bounce goes from this to like I got molasses.
You brought up DeWick, one of my other favorite hip hop songs of all time. Arguably my favorite dance song, hip hop of all time. You know what I'm saying? So that's a joint right there. I never really cared too much about that just to get a rep. I always thought like, wow, dude, why are the drums so weak on this? You know what I'm saying? It's just, but still, it was a good message. It was a good message, and people loved it. So at the end of the day, as a DJ, you like it, I'm gonna play it, even if I didn't care too much about it.
Well, it kept your head bobbing. That's what I like. But let's go here though. One of my favorite producers of all time is coming out with a project too. Eric Sermon, Dynamic Duels. And he got Redman, Method Man, Mobb Deep, M.O.P., Snoop and Nate Dogg, The Game, Conway the Machine, Public Enemy, Cypress Hill, and another one, 38 Special. Now, Eric Sermon been one of my favorite producers since way back when I found out he was actually doing the EPMD stuff and everything. I was like, yeah, this man is, he's the bomb. Especially when Redman came out, I was like, yeah, this is, Eric Sermon is the man. So when he started producing all that stuff back in the 90s and everything, because he was producing, if you ask him, he said, I produce for everybody. Well, yeah, pretty much so, because Eric Sermon was doing a lot of remixing and a lot of stuff. And he got a particular sound that I just gravitate towards. So I'm looking forward to that right there. How you feel about Eric Sermon?
I think he's dope. I mean, I always say that the funk stuff that they were coming from, that's stuff that really appeals to what's going on out here, on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Me personally, I wasn't enamored with that stuff, but I still respected and loved it. You know what I'm saying? When you pull out the Parliament, Funkadelic, look, I love that stuff like everybody else loves it. Those weren't the things that I strove to sample in making music. I'm like looking at James Brown. I'm looking at the Meters. I'm looking at, what's that song? Substitution. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that's a different vibe. You're talking about Sly and the Family Stone. So I'm just saying that was where I gravitated toward. But again, you just respect when someone comes from some other place and puts it down, and you're like, that's dope too. So much respect to his production. And not only that, that's the person that he'll pull up somebody that's no longer here and still make a song with him, like Marvin Gaye. And you see that he's got a Nate Dogg coming out on a song, rest in peace. Both of them have passed away some time ago. But, that's the thing about it. When you're an artist, you may release 30, 40, 50 songs, but you probably recorded over 100 of them. So there's vocals somewhere of this, that, and that's why Tupac keeps dropping albums and stuff like that.
Whoa. Hold on. Now, we got to spin that back. Oh, wait a minute. I think most of Tupac stuff is already gone. You know what I'm saying? I think it's already out there, been released and everything.
I don't know why he had so much stuff after the fact.
Some new Tupac stuff today, I think is AI.
It could be. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm hoping the Snoop and Nate Dogg song ain't no AI generated type stuff. Because Snoop had already been accused of using AI on some music recently.
I mean, that's the thing about accusations. Anyone can make them. Where the Candace Owens saying homegirl's a female. I mean, a homegirl's a male. I mean, you can Google search whatever, but notwithstanding your research, the truth is the truth. You can literally take a DNA test, and I'm just saying that, as far as the AI, I wouldn't be really hard pressed to defend myself. If I didn't do it, I didn't do it. Why am I even entertaining this debate and this stuff? Whether I know exactly what I did. I probably have all the bits and pieces to create the song that did what I did. I have the recordings of all the elements. But back to this whole like you talk about using vocals. I mean, to me, that's definitely what happened with the Tribe Called Quest. When Tribe Called Quest dropped that last album, you could tell the vocal difference between what Phife was doing versus everybody that was still amongst us doing live things, maybe in a better studio, better equipment. But they pulled it off. I love that Tribe album. I know Afro Agnostic wasn't a big fan of it, but I mean, I just love to see the brothers from back in the day make relevant music now. And Mobb Deep, it sounds to me like they went and got some old Prodigy spits, some unreleased stuff, and they made an album out of it. Respect to it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I see Mobb Deep. I believe they probably got some stuff in the vault, But here's another thing: Big L been gone for right after Pac and all that. Just a couple of years after Pac and Big. I don't know. That's gonna be a hard one for me. I mean, because some of the stuff on this second album, you can tell was actually, some stuff that they kind of pieced together anyway. And the quality wasn't really all that as far as vocally, you know what I'm saying? So how's this new album going to come out? Unless it's some of that AI stuff. And I hope it ain't. I don't think it is. Because you said you had heard the song with
he got a song right now with Big L and Nas. And what I was pointing out to El Poo, like I'm going to tell you, as an MC, if you're doing a feature or if you're on a song with somebody else, there's an intrinsic competition there going on with certain people. And I know that'd be myself. So I know that people were criticizing how LL Cool J went back in the booth and redid his lyrics after you heard Cannabis's lyrics. And people saying that's a sucker's itch. And I'm just telling you right now, I wouldn't have no problem if I see you, I'm spitting on the song with you, and I got control of the studio, I got access to the studio, and you lay down somewhere, I will rip mine up and I will make sure that I overshine this type of that. That's just the way that I was. So my point is that Big L been gone a long time. Nas is one of the greatest, MCs of all time. And he's had like, I don't know what, maybe 30, about 20, almost 30 years to basically outshine this dude on this track. And I don't think he did. That's all I'm saying. I'm just thinking that's but that's a salute to Big L. That's definitely not taken away from Nas. Nas might have been kind of taking it easy out of respect. I don't know what's going on in Nas' mind. Nas is one of the greatest MCs of all time. Can't peak and beat for saving himself, but he does find himself on some dope stuff every now and again.
When I first heard Life's a Bitch on Nas's first album and AZ, to me, I thought AZ got with Nas, honestly. I was like, man, this dude might be just a step ahead of Nas. That's how I felt.
AZ is dope, man. Even they had the little Firm thing. That was a very interesting little thing, but it just didn't get promoted. But one thing I wanted to say is I seem to recall that there was a whole 50 first album that they just sat on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that there's a lot of times that people create something and then it just gets put away either for marketing or whatever, so you don't even hear nothing about it. So Big L could have done like 2 or 3 albums, and this is just the one that you get that's released, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. So I don't know what the deal is, you know what I'm saying? If he had access to Cubase or whatever it was back in those days, that would have been all he needed to digitally record his audio to extract and put over whatever people's stuff. But who knows? I can't say.
Back in them days, more than likely you was putting stuff on DAT.
I was maybe more sophisticated. Yeah, that's 100% what you were doing.
Yeah. If you're working out of a big studio.
Big studio. Yeah, I was on some Pro Tools, not Pro Tools. I was on last of the poor stuff, but the bass, that type of stuff out of my house. So but yeah, that was a big jump. I remember working with the basic samplers and all this other stuff and recording on 4-track recorders, and all this difficult stuff. Then when you get to digital stuff, you can literally be like, I can just take this one little piece and slide this a little bit over and whatever it is, and just, I don't have to say this 1,000 times. I can just, copy, paste, and there goes the chorus, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it was a big jump. I'm just saying that you guys take it for granted that are in the game now, new to the game now. But I'm just saying that the struggle was real. And I'm talking about real REEL audio, old school.
Yeah. I mean, y'all, when the digital stuff first came out, like you were saying, like with vocals, you can like sample the vocals, but then you still have to manually put them into, on tape, basically. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, thank God that y'all have to live through this, because I know half y'all. Let's see what else we got up in here. Let me see what else we got going on.
Well, see, I'm gonna say one guy who's let's talk about this.
I was gonna say RZA got an album. I think this is being released right now. I think at least the Big Daddy Kane joint just came out yesterday, I believe. So RZA got an album coming out. You got Kool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, Master Ace, Roxanne, Shantae.
Juice Crew in effect. No Dan, but still,
definitely. It's a Juice Crew.
The Juice Crew right here. Yeah. So you need to go snatch up Shan, but Shan might not have been cooperating. But it's dope. It's man, I love it. And that's what, go if you got serious, listen to Rock the Bells Radio. LL Cool J's Rock the Bell Radio. You got some OGs like Grandmaster Caz, Sha Rock. You got Roxanne, Roxanne Shantae's got a show. Have a nice day. So I'm just saying that not only they're playing old music, but they're playing the old people's new music, and they're just giving you just a whole lot of flavor from that era. That's how I heard that Papoose song. I don't really know too much about Papoose other than the dude. I know he's dope, but I know he's like on Love and Hip Hop and all this other stuff. But I mean, that one song, I'm listening to it, I'm thinking like, this is a dope ass song. I can't believe I never heard it. He just released it. It's the song that he released with Busta Rhymes, and I think this female, her name is Khadijah, and they basically sample some stuff from Friday Number 2. Hilarious, that the Mexican dude, hundreds and fifties, whatever stuff like that. It's a dope ass song. So it's
you
called,
talking about one of the Jokers, right?
yeah, exactly, Lil Joker. So it's No Locked Doors, but I'm just saying it's called Counting. I don't know if it's Counting Money or something like that. It's a dope ass song. I had to buy it because I want to make sure he got royalties from it.
Hey, shout out to LL and Rock the Bells Radio. And I want to say this too. They got a show on there with him and Greg Nice called Salute the Sample and DJ G Trip. Yeah, I love that too, bro. They be going. I be knowing it though most of the time. Like I know what they going for. It's like But I love that show. Check them out though. It's a good throwback show. They on our level right here. This is what we kind of, we on the same thing here. We give props to the, to the old school, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be, it's old school now because, God damn it, we 50 years old now.
Yeah, we used to be the new school talking crap about what we thought was the old school. And now we the old school. So, that's how it is. The passing of the guard.
I remember they were saying old school was like, this like 1992, 86 was old school. Like, yeah, it's old school music. And like, wow. Now old school is 2000 is old school. And
to KRS-One's credit, he was the main one protesting that. He's like, said rap isn't even 20 years old. He's like, and then we'll be the old school artist. So he literally said that. He basically predicted it, and he's 100% right. So the teacher was teaching. That's what's up.
That's why he's called the teacher. Spin that back one time. That's what they do. See what else we got on here on deck here. Oh, let's talk about some people that's already came out. LL had dropped the album either late last year or early this year.
So he had a song with Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, when I first heard it, I was just more impressed with what he did, but it wasn't really my vibe. But I heard it like recently, whatever, and I'm thinking, it's kind of a dope song. And I was like, in the beginning, I was just sort of like, he held his own with Eminem. And that's saying a lot. And I got to tell you, after listening to this last time, I think he outdid Eminem on that particular song. You know what I'm saying? So that's a testimony to one of the greatest OGs of all time. So, but he got one song on that album. I know that, it's basically a song about, him coming into his birth and stuff like that. So
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you go ahead and talk. I'm gonna tell you about it. I'm gonna look it up. But I mean, I had to purchase that one song.
Yeah, I heard the whole thing. It was all produced by Q-Tip, number one. And let me say this too: the one with him and Eminem. I think Eminem adjusted his style just so LL can make sure that he can hang with him.
Yeah, that's
Eminem
what
is
I'm
so
saying.
versatile.
Oh,
Eminem
yeah.
is so versatile. He can do whatever the hell he wants to. Only person I think can actually hang with him, and this is just my humble opinion, is Kendrick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Busta can hang. The Vow. So the name of the song is called The Vow. So look that up for LL Cool J. That song is, and I guess the album's called The Force. But that's LL. You're talking about one of the OGs. So at least from the OGs of, I used to think that he was the beginning of the new school. He was like right before. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up.
Well, then Slick Rick had produced the album. Excuse me, had dropped an album. I think that was earlier this year, and he got a whole video compilation, almost like 30 minutes, like 20 some minutes, just different songs. They just go from one song to the next and everything. It was very clever. I like the way it was done. It even got Nas on there. Nas is featured on there, probably a couple of other people, but it was a good project.
But Nas has been working, man. Nas is like dead Tupac. You know what I'm saying? He's just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Yeah, Nas has come a long way. And I actually thought Nas had fell off, especially when Jay came out with the Takeover. I thought Nas was done with. But Nas came back with that Ether and was like, damn, woo. That woke Nas up. And since then, he's just been dropping. Everything ain't been really super dope. And like you say, he got a bad habit of picking some terrible beats.
See, that's the thing. But when he contributes to each song, it's still masterful. He's a masterclass MC rapper. It's just that he's not. Some people are great at performing. Some people are great at making songs. Some people can do both. There's different lanes. There's a reason why you have an MC like Supernatural. He's a performer. He's
right.
he's a freestyler. He's just, that's his thing. You know what I'm saying? I remember Chris was talking about, I've been trying to get you in the studio. I mean, it sometimes it just doesn't translate. So I'm just saying that, he needs a dope producer to come to him, and then they do dope things together. If he, I almost feel like Ice Cube's got the same problem. I feel like once Ice Cube got away from Jinx and all these other people, I mean, he needs to be with the best producers to really do what he does. You know what I'm saying? But I always find at least one song or two on these albums where I'm like, I like that about as good as any Nas song ever. So you know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate it. And the fact that other people vibe with it, that's cool.
Actually, I just saw a new song from Ice Cube yesterday with him and Scarface. I think it's called "Act Your Age" or something like that.
Yeah, it's on his album. I bought his album yesterday too.
Okay, there you go. Hey, Mr. Nice Guy over there supporting the.
That's what I said. I don't want to just stream. I'm gonna put royalties in these dudes' pocket. I spent like $69 on iTunes. You know what I'm saying? Supporting the old people coming out and stuff like that. I didn't realize the Clipse wasn't in our era, so I spent, and technically I didn't need to because they're technically outside. They existed in our era, but they didn't come out till after that. But right. I will say, I think that album is phenomenal. I think it is a 5-mic album. I'm shocked. I don't really know too much about the Clipse. I mean, I remember grinding. I just really wasn't, I had the respect for them as MCs, but I wasn't really up on them like that. I heard that album that he did when he had that Drake diss song on it, and I thought it was boring as hell. I thought, he's a dope rapper, but I mean, damn, this sounds like spoken word over music with no beats. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? But this is like these joints. I'm just telling you, go check out that Clipse album. That is a dope album.
Well, that's what's up. Then let's go ahead and spin at that. Let me say this too. Outkast is going to get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and we wouldn't mind another Outkast album. Andre, go ahead and get back into it. I know Big Boy, he wouldn't mind doing it. I'm pretty sure. He
said, you know what? I am feeling the pull of getting back into rapping. He did say that. Mm-hmm. So that's 3,000. So if he's got a little bit of pull, we might get some Outkast greatness because they are.
Yeah.
hip hop greatness. You know.
You know, he didn't drop a couple of verses here and there over the past couple of years. So, you know, who knows?
He had a verse on that Tribe Called Quest album. You know,
See,
so
there
you
go.
know,
See?
so yeah.
He might have that bug. He might, you know what? He might just end up dropping something. And this time it won't be no flute album or no piano album or whatever the hell he's doing.
I do not put down anybody. You feel if you don't have the fire, whatever it is in you, I don't know. But I've always said that once you like create music and really create music, I don't see how you ever stop. Like I'm not actively creating music as far as laying stuff down, but I hear stuff and I go, my mind starts, you know, taking this part, this sample, this, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm constructing things all the time, rhymes all the time. It's just, it never is going to stop. So I'm just saying that I can't understand how someone would do that, would ever just get out of it. But if you do, you do, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, at the end of the day, just make sure it's dope. Don't do something just for the sake of doing something, you know?
Yeah, I'm constantly kind of, you know, messing around, dabbing around, making little beats and stuff here and there. I don't finish them most of the time, but I'll just be, you know, just doing a little something here and there.
I used to call those bonies. They're the skeletons. You know,
Right,
if I don't finish it, I just create enough of it and I can put flesh on it. If this is really gonna go to production, I put some flesh on it, but I just create a bunch of bonies, you know. So yeah, so
yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's see. Dana Dane got a project, Nightmares Again. I think I heard this. It's you know, it's a play on Nightmares of the Night. You know, it's a newer version of it, and it's perfect time because it's getting ready to be Halloween in about a
yes. Do your marketing, flip it. You know, don't just sit down. Yeah, exactly. Do that. I mean, and plus Kwame producing it. I just bought Kwame's new album, and I'm gonna tell you, he's got some bangers on it.
Whoa.
Yes, he's got some bangers on it. This dude is funny. He's a producer, rapper producer, you know what I'm saying? A real producer rapper, you know what I'm saying? And he had been doing a lot of sort of like stuff in the background. He was using a different name because Biggie pretty much destroyed him, talking about, you know, played out like Kwame and Polka Dots. So he literally changed his production name to something else. Then when enough time passed by, he went back to Kwame. But I'm just telling you, his album is dope. I respect the hell out of it. It's just, you know, and it's positive, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just check it out. It's worth it. But he's got some songs on there that are just masterful. Like it felt like I was back in 89, 90, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just salute to that brother.
He been doing a lot of producing because I know he was doing production for like 50 Gene Unit and stuff like that, like the Stunt 101. I know that's his beat. He did a whole lot of other beats too. I can't think of right now. But yeah, he's been producing.
He's been producing. So that's what I'm saying. So just thinking that all of that, he's taking all of that history, all that skill, all that know-how, all that flip, and he just poured it into his own personal project. And I'm just telling you, I'm very much impressed with it. I loved it. You know what I'm saying?
You know, his first album, I think he did most of the production on it anyway. So
he did. He was working with like Teddy. Well, he was out of the Herbie. Yeah. So they were just like, you know, here you can go ahead and use the studio, and you know it's funny. A lot of the stuff that he did for his first album, he just sampled a lot of stuff that people already sampling. He wasn't necessarily biting, but I mean, he was just using stuff that was already used. If you go listen to that first album, most of those samples were already sort of like in heavy rotation for other songs, but he flipped it his way. And, you know, he was a producer. I mean, he created all that stuff. He did everything himself. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I love that album.
But back in them days, you know, if you had the break beats or beat breaks and scratches, whatever that was called, everybody was using all that stuff, especially
that's true. But that's what I'm saying. When Marley Marl was using stuff, I mean, even though he was using stuff that the breakbeat DJs were using, it was sort of like the first time you heard it on vinyl. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people that using certain beats, like Big Daddy Kane got a song called "Getting to It," and he's got this sort of like this drum with a little offbeat little thing. And I believe he sampled that exact same drum and used that on on that first album, which was still dope. You know what I'm saying? I loved from what I remember, I loved every song on the first album. I thought it was very good. So I'm a fan of him. And even when he went to the polka dots, I was still rocking with him. I don't know if I had a polka dot outfit. I know that two of my homeboys, you know, rest in peace, Brick Walls and Leroy, you know, that they had some polka dot outfits, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I would still rock with that dude. You know what I'm saying? So I support Kwame. I think his name is Kwame.
If this is if there's some truth to this, Benny Siegel and Jada Kiss dropping the album together, that would be great.
Yeah, man. Two amazing freaking rappers, MCs, dudes. You know, you can be a great rapper, but you're not necessarily one of them ones. And when you're one of them ones, then you're a great rapper. It you know what I'm saying? It's that credibility, that information, that exposure. It's a great combination. And you know the bully, what do you call the Broad Street? What was it? What was the nickname?
Broad Street Bully.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. And Jada Kiss, who's like literally one of the greatest, you know, rappers of all time. I mean, that's a dude you'd be very worried about taking him out in one of the verses, because he pretty much wiped out the whole Dipset by himself. Like, for real though. Had dudes fighting. You know you losing a battle when you get to fight. That's like bagging. Muggs is bagging. All of a sudden you end up fighting. That's because you was losing the bagging. You know what I'm saying?
Real.
So,
that's real. You got your feelings hurt.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Well, there's one more here. Juvenile announces a new album entitled Boiling Point, produced by Manny Fresh. Now that will be a good one too, honestly. Manny Fresh and Juvenile. Well, Manny Fresh made Juvenile, if you ask me, because you know, actually Manny Fresh kind of made Cash Money in the beginning. You know, in fact, Manny Fresh did make Cash Money with his production.
He was the RZA of that movement. You know what I'm saying? So you know,
yeah.
I wasn't necessarily a big fan of that stuff, their movement, their music. You know what I'm saying? That really wasn't my thing. But I will say that in that verses, if they're using Wayne's discography, that ish ain't fair.
Well, hold on. Since you just mentioned that, let's go to this too. You know, we also gonna talk about the verses, which is Cash Money versus No Limit Records. It's going to be happening in Las Vegas on the 25th. So, how you think that's going to? You already given your opinion. Yeah, if they use Wayne's catalog, I mean,
it's not fair. It's not fair.
So you get Wayne's catalog when Wayne Cash Money was already done. I mean, not Cash Money, but No Limit was already done. I mean,
yeah.
No Limit.
Talk about a smaller area, and then just I love me some No Limit songs. I mean, I can, if you want to bring up some mystical, you want to talk about, make them say, you know what I'm saying? And, about it. They got some dope stuff. But I mean, man, you talking about Cash Money. So now you're talking about, first of all, you're talking about Drake as well, right? Young Money. So then you talk about Nicki Minaj on top of all the stuff with Juvenile and whatever. And, Juvenile, that song, Back That Thing Up, I was never enamored with that song, but as a DJ, I freaking love that song because that got the people going crazy, particularly females. I mean, when you see when a song has that effect on the people, it doesn't matter what I think about it. I just gotta respect it. It got that thing, whatever that thing, it got it. You know what I'm saying? So salute to that, brother. Salute to them that put all that thing together.
Oh, salute to them. But it'd only be fair if you could only take the music from when they both was actually releasing music. So when Cash Money kind of fell, because here's another thing, No Limit is going to bring out Snoop, because Snoop.
Yeah, that's true. So, but they only got Snoop for that period.
Right, and then around that time when Snoop left, that's kind of like when No Limit kind of fell off. I mean, I can't really think of nothing else after that, really.
I mean, the beauty of 20 songs, if that's the format, is 20 songs. But you're going to be using 20 songs from a much condensed sample size than what they got. I'm just saying that I don't see any scenario where they don't, but if they're performing live, that's going to be a big piece of the puzzle too, because, we'll see how the energy is. But we'll see. But I mean, we talked about like Manny Fresh being the RZA of Wu-Tang. Speaking of Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang has got an album that they're going to be dropping, but not only that, you talk about RZA. I mean, let me say, first things out, Raekwon already got an album dropped out. I bought that, and I mean, I think it's a classic. I think it's just got heaters. The features are amazing. You're talking about Conway the Machine and Benny the Butcher, and basically the Griselda Cats. I mean, who pretty much took over East Coast underground hip hop for like a nice little stretch. You know what I'm saying? but I'm just telling you, his energy, the music, the beats is dope. Ghostface got one up there, is dope. I mean, I kind of like the Chef's album a little bit better than Ghost, but still, it's right up there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what's up. And then on top of that, you know, we did just drop the song with RZA producer Big Daddy Kane and all those other sort of like Juice Group notables. So I don't think the Wu's album has dropped yet, but, you know, I'm going to be very interested to check it out.
Right. Well, yeah, obviously, like I say, these cats are, you know, still dropping. The Wu can't drop an entire album by themselves, you know, as far as the whole clan, because you're missing ODB. Without ODB, it ain't no Wu-Tang album. That's what I'm gonna say. But these cats like Raekwon and Ghost dropping albums, that, you know, that's fair. Method Man, actually, I think Method Man and Redman should drop. You know, if anything, they should always be dropping stuff together, because they the best duo that I know of, especially coming from different crews, and they kind of like getting together and becoming like a, you know, a duo. That
was a very strange thing, and I guess it was the whole Def Jam angle, right?
It was because when the albums was coming out, I think it was Redman's second album and Method Man's first album. It was being released in October. They was calling it the Month of the Man, and then they got together and they made that How High song, and then it just went from there. You know,
yeah. How High movie. Yeah. They had a TV show. You know what I'm saying?
Sure
these brothers was doing all types of stuff together. So yeah,
it's called the Red and Meth Show, right?
I don't remember what it was called. I just remember I was like, you know, it's funny when you see folks branching out to this other stuff. Where it's like when Kid and Play and MC Hammer had cartoons on Saturday morning. So, you know, kids, I mean, you know, dudes just be working those angles, and I will not knock the hustle. You know what I'm saying? Whatever works, I root for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, I think those two, you know, they was, as far as duels go, they was the best thing that came since EPMD.
And he's saying of different sort of like crews and stuff like that. Not the best two rappers together,
right.
The best two that basically collab together from completely different, you know, whatever. I don't know if I can think of a better combination myself either. You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
Right, because they just gelled together. And, you know, if you listen to that first album, that first, I forgot the name of it. Blackout, is it called? Is it Blackout?
At the end of the day, they're just both dope rappers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's a recipe for success. You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, they get it. And you know what? They don't just make songs where you just spitting and like, oh, you know, I respect how to the lyrics. They understand the concept of song making. They make songs that make you want to dance, make you want to move, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They get all of it. They have real personality. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that is a duo that affords for a lot.
And they get together. They formulate their lyrics, and you might, you know, you write your lyrics, and I might listen to it. Then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna write to that style, and then they come together and they do their hooks together. They bounce off each other and everything. It's just they was just perfect. Anyway, all right. So like I said, but let's get back to his Cash Money and No Limit. So let's say in the 90s, who you think had the better catalog? I guess you have to give it to, in my opinion, I have to give it to No Limit because they had a bigger catalog because they started earlier.
Yeah, in the 90s for sure. I mean, when did Back That Thing come out? That came out like in
98, something like that.
And so you're at the back end of the night. Yeah, you're there. They really, when I think about, you know, Young Money and Cash Money, all that stuff, I'm basically thinking about the 2000s. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
So they just, you know, yeah. So no, and No Limit. Again, you got to put a lot of respect on Master P because he wasn't just like a guy that produced whatever. This was the dude that like owned everything. He was the like, you know, the example of what you of what you, the ideal template for music business, black music business, hip hop business. You know what I'm saying? So he was controlling all that stuff. He's making all that money. You know, you sign a deal with somebody else, you're only getting so much of whatever. He's the owner. You know what I'm saying? He don't have to sell as much as you to make more than you. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big triumph. You know what I'm saying? Master P, you know, that was a tremendous businessman. You know what I'm saying?
Not only that, he was just releasing so much product, though. You know, when you go, you drive down the street, you look at a bus bench, you got like 30 albums coming out in the next week from No Limit Records. Like, damn, this dude was just trying. Then a lot of them was going platinum and stuff too. He was selling so many records, and like you say, he had like an 85-15 deal, something like that. And 85% of everything, man, he
Yeah,
had a
that's
hell of
crazy.
a deal.
That's crazy. And you think about it, and he was like, he's bringing that South flavor. When the South kind of like really like put their foot down in hip hop, they never let go.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? He was the guy that really kind of like, or one of the guys that really sort of like established that invasion, so to speak, because that South music was something that the females could dance to too. You know what I'm saying? If you just make music that just appeals to guys, there's only so much you can do with it. You can't play that type of music in the club. But the South was doing that whole bouncy thing and all this other stuff. I mean, it got the females going. And that's the key. You get the females going, it's like what you call it, the baseball movies. You just build it and they will come. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they did, because it was really them. It was really like P for real. I mean, you had Outkast doing their thing, but that was just, it was really just them, the Dungeon Family. They was just doing their little thing.
I love, man. Hey, Dungeon Family, man. I tell you, man.
They got their style, man. It's like some people. One thing we was talking about D'Angelo, rest in peace. D'Angelo. One thing I can't say about him, you can listen to his music and know that was him. He had a style that was all his own. Dungeon Family has a style that you can kind of like, yeah, I can hear that's them. That's them. You know what I'm saying? They got that so much of that soul, and it sounds like what Curtis Mayfield would be doing today.
Just think about how the Goody Mob, they had the dude from Goody Mob, you know what I'm saying? He was like a piece of the puzzle. Just went out to start, CeeLo, and now he's like, he went out to like doing like traditional songs and stuff like that and just dominated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, right. And before he met that little bit of controversy, I mean, he's on The Voice, he's on these shows, he's like very popular and doing all these other stuff. So my point is that you talk about the Dungeon Family. Dungeon Family was, Outkast and the Goody Mob. Goody Mob, Self Therapy is one of the greatest songs of all time, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, I was just listening to the other day and was just like, I'm about to be late for work because I'm about to listen to this whole damn song.
Yeah. But then, like Cash Money, excuse me, No Limit came. They had their little sound. They did have a sound too.
They did.
Cash Money, and then Manny Fresh came with his style. And that's where it really just took off and just went somewhere else. It was like, yeah, you're right. When they got a hold of it, they
never let it go. They never let it go.
I mean, the whole G-Funk era, because remember when G-Funk and all that came out, when Dre came out with The Chronic, everybody was kind of, even Biggie album was kind of like, like mimicking that a little bit.
Chris Cross. You know what I'm saying? You were listening to the album stuff on there. They were like, just like Jermaine Dupri. He was like basically just straight ripping, the template from Dr. Dre. So I'm just saying, you're right. That was going on. But when the South took over, I mean, it was great. You'd have moments where, like, let's say Cardi B kind of blows up. Now the East Coast is getting some that shine again and stuff like that. I mean, really, it's the females, like because the men from the East Coast that are really kind of doing it, they're more like the underground. Like I said, when you talk about Griselda is a dope ass, hip hop group movement, label. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't necessarily the mainstream stuff. But then you have the stuff like Scarlett. And you have the stuff like Cardi B. That's the stuff that the mainstream type stuff that really kind of blows up. So you get those little moments and stuff like that. But the South, they just staying with it. I mean, because Glorilla, right? I mean, that's still the South. So,
Yeah. I mean, even Nicki from New York, she like from Queens or something. She had to go down south to really blow up.
Yeah. And I love Nicki Minaj. I'm just talking about as an artist. I mean, she's a bad sister and all, but I'm just, I ain't talking about somebody else's wife. I love her as an artist. I think she is dope as hell. I don't like her as a battler. You need to stop doing that. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, I think she's actually a creative artist and everything. I think she's a whole lot better than people like Cardi B. Cardi B ain't really no artist to me. And then you got this other one, this Sexy Red. I mean, I ain't been hearing from her lately. I hope it stays that way. You know what I'm saying? Give some other people a shot. I wish people like Rah Digga really got a chance to really shine because I think she was dope too.
Yeah, like MC Light, those type of people, you know what I'm saying? And MC Light's supposed to be dropping some new music.
Yeah,
And she has been doing stuff, you know what I'm saying? So, Salt from Salt and Pepper, she's released some music, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people from this era that just ain't laying down. We talked about a little while back with Rakim. He dropped that album that he produced. He spit on it too, but he produced it, and he had a ton of people on it. He had Coogee on there. He had, rest in peace, Chino XL. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, and I loved it. I loved it, man.
Yeah, I heard Rakim on somebody else's stuff not too long ago. Rakim still be spitting, man. That's one thing I gotta give him, man. He got that flow that's just his, and it's, hey, salute to Rakim, bro. I love Rakim. All right.
He said when he writes rhymes, he writes them like he's playing an instrument, like so the cadence and the rhythm and all that stuff, So it's just like because he got that musical background. So I mean that's one of the things about it, on top of just dope ass lyrics.
Right. Yeah, man. Ain't nobody ever gonna be Rakim. We already know. We can't stress this enough. Rakim changed the trajectory of rap in 1986 when he came out and dropped, and Marley Marl and Shan was recording them, and they was kind of laughing behind his back like this shit ain't gonna work. And then they got it. And it was like, oh, I mean, but I don't know how they. Well, you know what? Because you gotta understand, hip hop was a way different back in them days. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was really hyped up. Think about LL when he first came out. In fact, remember LL made a song about football or something? It was some kind of football rhyme he made for a commercial or something.
No, I don't remember.
But anyway,
one thing about that is when you say that, it's like as an artist, sometimes you got to take risks. Sometimes someone has a vision and they present it to you, and you're kind of like, I don't know about that, but you just lay it out. You lay out for it. You know what I'm saying? You do it. And then you step back from it and you analyze it and you evaluate it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying that sometimes you do stuff that's risky like that. I know that that Biggie, he hated One More Chance, till they actually laid it down and did it. And then it was like his favorite song. So I'm just saying that sometimes, you can have that. You talk about Shannon and Marley Marl laughing about that. I'm sure that after they stepped away from it, they were like, hold up. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, it's the classic that it is. So, And Shannon's the one playing the keyboard on My Melody or whatever, So yeah.
Okay. Well, I know one thing. Biggie should have hated that damn Juicy because that was a weak ass damn song.
I didn't like that song either, man.
Hated that damn song. I ain't like the sample. I ain't like nothing about the song.
Hey, I like one more chance, but I don't really care about the R&B version. I care about the hip hop version. That song is one of my joints right there. Using like the Craig G Dropping Science, Marley Marl remix kind of beat. That's the one that I like. But yeah,
Yeah, you use that Lou Donaldson. Who's Making Love? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Classic. But anyway, let's give a shout out to all these older heads that's dropping this new music, keeping hip hop alive, and making sure that we understand that you ain't too old to be doing hip hop. You should be doing it. I want these old cats to show these new cats what it's really about. Even though you ain't gonna get all the views and everything, you ain't gonna get all the sales. You probably wouldn't be selling out the big old stadiums, but these older cats, people that came up with you, if you still got that catalog, you still willing to do that stuff, we gonna vibe with you. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's 100% what's up.
LL, you know what I'm saying? Cube, all you peoples, man, y'all got stuff. You can do albums, do concerts for hours. You know what I'm saying? In fact, y'all need to get an old school concert tour going with some of these older cats, and y'all need to do some of your old stuff and maybe a couple of your new stuff, but do that old stuff so people can really vibe with you. That's what I say.
Rock the Bells has a Rock the Bells cruise. And they got a lot of old school people, MC Light, I think, probably LL. So they're not only on the cruise that you can basically socialize with these people after fashion, but they're going to be performing. I wish that was not in the cards, but that would be dope. I'm just saying it. There's a lot of stuff on it. The reason why I am on Instagram is because Big Daddy Kane announced he was going to do a concert from his Instagram, and I immediately signed up for Instagram that day. So that's what's up. I love the fact that these cats is still doing their things. You know what I'm saying? They're not just fossils. You know, we still got life. We still got contributions to make. So, you know, salute to those that came before us and those that came up with us, and respect to those that came after us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, respect. If you're doing your thing out there, you being real with it, spend that back. We're gonna respect you for that. But anyway, we're gonna be up out of here. So we want to thank y'all.
Ready for the
Whoa! Hold on.
You always keep pushing.
We want to thank y'all. We want to thank y'all for coming on back here with us and spending this weekend with us this Saturday. So and join us next week. I don't know if we're gonna be back here, but join us on the Focus Up Show at 9:00 right here on this the same old bat station. So now we finna be up out of here. Let me see if I can get my music together. There we go. So on behalf of my man, Mr. Nice Guy here, and everybody else here at the Focus Up Network, we want to say thank you for tuning in. Hit that like, share, subscribe. We do appreciate you. We need more views. We need some more subscribers. We try to get to 1,000 subscribers at least. You know what I'm saying? So just check us out next time. And we're going to be out of here. And we want to say, hey.